whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
Good morning and happy Friday Eve. This is the Nikki Medoro show. I know you're already like loving that, right? I mean, it's almost Friday. Yep. Thank you everyone for being here. A fun show. Jefferson Graham will of course be joining us in the second part of the show. He has a bunch of tips and tricks to, back up your iPhone. He was teasing that last week, and the reason why I was like a couple minutes late is my stupid computer decided to update, which is never a good thing. Usually update my computer. Yeah, every time my computer gets updated, I end up having problems with my computer. So fingers crossed, people. Fingers crossed that nothing like that happens. And yes, Calvin, it is Friday Eve. Today's Thursday. Don't make me double check my brain right now. Yes, it's Thursday. We call that Friday Eve here. We're just trying to, wake up to a great morning. It was another frosty morning. I got a last minute phone call from the woman I carpool with. Like, we split off, we share. And she was supposed to take Marley to school today. And I don't miss these days. I do and I don't. She calls me, and her little, I think her daughter is probably less than 5. Okay. And she drives to the grandparents' house, and the kid just vomits all over the car.
No.
And she's like, can you take my daughter to school? And I was like, no problem whatsoever. But then, of course, I'm not planning on taking my car. So it's like iced. I got to get out the hose. I got to start spraying my car down. I was like, okay, let's go. So yeah, it's a frosty morning. But gosh, we were talking yesterday about all the snow that was falling in the Sierra. And then right after the show, I heard about a tragic avalanche.
Yeah.
ABC 7 headed out there. I just want to play this for you. Our hearts go out to I believe the gentleman was from the Truckee area. A 60-something-year-old gentleman was the one person that died in the avalanche. But again, the fact that this was in bounds is what shocked everybody regarding this, because, geez, you just don't anticipate it happening. And here again is the report from ABC 7.
Emotional. I'm a little shaken up about it. It's just weird to be living across from an area where something bad just happened. It's like a tragedy.
This is a very sad day for my team and everyone here.
The Palisades Tahoe community reacting to news that 66-year-old Kenneth Kidd died in an avalanche here Wednesday morning, reacting also to these images of people digging other people out of the snow after that avalanche. Marcus Franklin tells us that he came down the mountain just after the avalanche happened on the KT-22 run.
But as we were riding down under the chairlift, some people on the lift started yelling at us that there was an avalanche.
The Placer County Sheriff's Office also confirms that at least 3 people were hurt. Franklin says he and his friends were among several people helping look for those who had been swallowed or knocked elsewhere by the snow.
And so that's it. I know it's a little low, so hopefully you guys could turn up your volume on that. But yeah, basically, this avalanche hit. 3 people were injured. I think 1 person still in the hospital with a broken leg. And then that 60-something-year-old gentleman was unfortunately died on the mountain. An avalanche, it's one of those things where, intellectually, I know what I would do in an avalanche. When that snow takes you, it moves so freaking quickly. I remember when I was a reporter in Sacramento, we went through training regarding what to do if you're caught in a fire, with the fire blankets and things like that. And with avalanches, I remember they told us, if you have the wherewithal, if you see it coming, obviously don't try to outrun it by going down the hill, kind of go sideways to try to get out of that kind of that amount of snow that's going down. And if you are caught up in it and you have and your brain's not going nuts, to create the air pocket in front of your mouth, right? So if it starts to slow down, try to create this air pocket until somebody can dig you out. But I cannot imagine. I just can't imagine being there. I mean, again, and let me just show these images again. The people that were on the chairlift that saw it happening. Oh my God, my heart just goes out to them. Look at them digging. I mean, this is them using their poles and trying to find people. I just, I think I would just be so frightened that I was pushing snow down on somebody if I was over there. You know what I mean? So, obviously, the Palisades, there's the map. Is that where the avalanche happened that you're showing right there? Yeah.
That's the KT-22. Sometimes it's hard to picture, where all these ski runs are. And
Right.
so if you kind of see it from this angle, but yeah, that's the KT-22 ski lift area.
And again, this was in bounds. Normally, you hear about these things out of bounds where they can't do some of the protection, blast some of the snow off. So the avalanche, it was in bounds. And so you just kind of feel, and they had taken a bunch of precautions the day before because they were making all kinds of snow and a bunch of snow fell. And so you got to be careful out there. You think you're going to the snow, you're going to go skiing. It's a nice day, and then in a moment, something can change. And so, yeah, I just feel, yeah, exactly, Square. There was a woman, I think, being interviewed by KTVU. And she's like, how helpless you must feel to see people and then this avalanche just coming down. And, I mean, it seems kind of harsh to say, but how lucky you are. Like, a couple of minutes before or after, and you could have been caught up in that. And so it just, my heart goes out to everybody. Nobody wants something like that to happen, especially the excitement, right, of like the first kind of real snow of the season and things like that. And so, yeah, and hopefully, obviously we don't want something like that to happen again, but the trauma of just witnessing all of that has to be totally intense. And so, yeah. Speaking of trauma, and this is a weird thing to try to quantify. Did you see this headline in the Washington Post? So from the snow to the air, the door plug that flew off of the Alaska Airlines flight, they put a dollar amount. I don't know if you guys, let's see if you guys can get, what is the dollar amount that Alaska Airlines is paying the people on that flight for kind of their trauma or their pain and suffering? How much do you think how much would you want? Let's put it that way. How much would you want if you were on an airplane, 16,000 feet in the air, and the door blew off? And, the oxygen comes down, knowing that, you're going to have to get on a plane again. How much would you want for your trauma? Kim McAllister, what would be the dollar amount?
So this is not how much I want, but how much the airline is offering me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's start with how much would you want? I mean, be realistic here. Let's not go $1 billion. Okay, let's be realistic.
10 grand?
10 grand. That's a lot of money. But
what do I think they offer?
Yeah.
$2,500 in air miles.
Here's some air miles. See,
and a
my
pack
thing
of peanuts and a partridge in a pear tree.
Exactly, right? My thing is this. Included in this amount is the fact that I am going to have PTSD every single time I go on an airplane. If I go on an airplane in the near future at all. I mean, there is no way if I was on this plane that I would be able to step on a plane and not think about it. I remember, and this is nowhere near like the same thing, but it's the only time I could fully remember, like really like having a physical reaction to something, is the first time I injured my knee and I tore my MCL and I had to have surgery. And I didn't even give it a second thought. And then I went to ride my bike with San Jose Bike Party again. And I got on my bike and there were all these people around me, which is how it happened the first time. And my hands were literally shaking. And I was like, get away from me. Like I literally had this physical reaction. That is nothing compared to what these people went through. And so let's see, Harry, you were the correct one. Alaska Airlines is offering people $1,500 to, quote, assist with any inconveniences. Okay. The people received an apology, obviously a full refund for the aborted flight, and then $1,500 to, quote, assist with any inconveniences. One of the people that was on the flight says, I haven't fully processed if that payment is enough or not. I don't know how this is going to affect me in the coming weeks and months, It is not enough. It is not enough. $1,500? Yeah, Spencer, I don't know if I'd be able to step foot on a plane again. You know what I also wouldn't want anymore? The window seat. There's no freaking way I would want the window seat. I love the window seat. I love opening the window and looking out and seeing what's happening and the lights and the clouds and the mountains and whatever. I don't think I'm going to be paying extra for the window seat. No, it's $1,500. It's now Kim is saying it's not the airline's fault. I hear what you're saying. It's Boeing's, right? It's the manufacturer. I get that.
No, wait. Hold on. The warning light came on 3 times.
That is true.
They said,
point,
we're not going to take this plane and put it over open ocean. We're going to only
do it over land. Exactly. I forgot about that.
Where it can get into an airport. No, you ground this plane. If the warning light comes on 3 separate times.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
What? It's better if it crashes into land than the sea? Or no, I know it's better than that it be near an airport where you can make an emergency landing. No. If you have an incident like this and you got a warning light issue and you don't know what the hell's wrong with it,
right.
and you're gonna put your public, your customers aboard this plane where you're like, fingers crossed, hope for the best. No.
Yeah.
No.
And also I want to be notified if that is the path you're taking. Like if the pilot is making a decision in which we cannot fly over ocean, we have to fly over land because there's a warning light. I want in on this decision making. I want to decide whether I want to be on a plane that's making that decision.
I want to know if it's the crap plane or not. I mean,
I never want the crap plane. How about that? Never want it. Never want it.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So I blame the airline. You don't do that. Are you kidding me?
Lou says, how about the teen who was in the middle seat next to the door? That's not enough. Yeah. And should the payment, like how close you were to the freaking door?
The closer you were to impending death, the higher the bill.
I felt the suction. I want more money, right? Like that should happen.
If you're the person that lost their phone, you're like, yeah.
And we can only laugh about it because nobody was sucked out of the plane.
Right,
Remember?
right.
And I keep making the joke. They're like, no one was in that seat. And I'm like, not anymore. That could happen. The tear off Chippendale shirt guy gets $1,500. Yeah, remember the guy lost his shirt? Can you imagine?
I know.
Oh,
I can't imagine taking that risk with people's lives. 3 times. The plane is like, yeah, no, that can't. This one can't go to Hawaii. No, that is not
so wrong.
That does not
It's
inspire
so wrong.
confidence on getting aboard that plane. No.
Yeah. Ricky says, like I said, my ass is never more than 30 inches off the ground. I gave him feet and he's like, no, inches. I'm only jumping. Okay. If Belle can't get me there. Yeah. Spencer says, I'm an aisle guy. It's easier to get to the bathroom. I sit in the aisle now because when I fly with my family, because normally like we do the planes that have 3 seats, right? And so it's usually my kids, window, middle kid, and then my husband, and then I'm on the other side in the aisle so we can talk to each other. Does that make sense? So one of us takes with the kids and one of us takes the other aisle seat. I like the window though. I like to lean against it. I like to take a nap. If I had my choice, I would definitely take the window seat, but now
I like the aisle.
Yeah, you like the aisle? I don't know. And then then you have to get up every single time somebody needs to go to the bathroom.
I'd rather have to do that than inconvenience everyone if I'm the one that needs to get up.
So you want to be, you take one for the team, man. Yeah. I mean, I do it because of what I just explained to you, but yeah. Mario says, Kim made a good point. The payment will barely cover the lost phones. They found that phone though. And if iPhone does not use that as a commercial, they're missing out. I mean, you can drop it from 16,000 feet and not a scratch on it. All right. Well, again, I don't think that $1,500 is enough. There's probably going to be lawsuits. That one guy I was quoting, he says, just think about it. If you went to a trauma therapist, how much will $15 get you? I don't know. It's not a lot. I mean, I would assume a therapist, what do they say? Like it's a couple $100 an hour. That's kind of the MO of it. So,
Oh my God. I would have been off that plane. Ren, I was on a plane once where the door wouldn't properly close. So we flew at 10,000 feet.
No. No.
So the plane wouldn't need full pressurization.
No.
Oh my God.
I mean, and again, I want to take a vote on this. There should be a vote. Like, okay, everybody, so this door is not shutting properly. Does anyone want to get off, or do you want to just fly at 10K feet so we don't have to lose pressurization? And you want to know the damn truth? There are people that don't want to be so inconvenienced. They're like, yeah, screw it, just fly 10,000 feet. But there's others like myself. They're like, nah, I'll catch the next one. You know what I mean? Like, I'll catch the next one.
I'm glad you're still with us, my friend.
Oh my
gosh.
I can't. Ren, and just answer this. Were you asked? Like, do you want to get off the plane? Because that's my thing. You can't make people. I would not want to be forced to stay on an airplane that will had to make that sort of adjustment. I'd be like, no, pay me. I will take another flight and good luck, people. I'm out. Like, no. There is no way.
Well, they shouldn't take that kind of risk with the safety of the public.
No. And again, if you can't pressurize the plane, there's something wrong with the plane, and people alive, souls, should not be on that plane. Yeah, we got a lot of aisle people too.
Do you get a discount for riding on the crap plane? Like, this one is a little shaky. We don't know if it's going to make it.
Exactly. Can I get a half off?
Price. Exactly. 50%.
Best decision, maybe last decision I make in my life. Better be a good ass deal. No, I just don't think. Now I'm thinking I should buy a seat for my baby when I fly this summer. Oh, exactly. I mean, and this is awful to even think about, but lap kids, right? Babies, you just hold them on your seat. God forbid.
No.
Can you? I don't even. Nope, not even gonna go down. I can't even imagine. Like, some child gets sucked out of your arms. Give me a freaking break.
No.
Ren says I didn't know about the door until we landed, and my friend told me. You didn't notice that you weren't flying high enough? I mean, that seems like you would notice. Like, this seems really low. Like, I really don't feel like we've hit cruising altitude. Did the pilot come on and say you can unfasten your seats? We're at cruising altitude? Probably not, because we never were. That's awful. That is awful. Yeah, Spirit Airlines. What is it? Frontier? Is that what it is? Also, it's crap.
Mm-hmm.
They only told us about the 10,000 feet. It was a long time ago when friends could see you off. Oh, that was a long time ago. That was pre 9/11. Remember those days? Some of you, probably all of you remember that, but yeah. No, I would say $1,500 is not enough. I would be suing. I would be in a class action suit, especially because of the whole warning light thing.
Well,
happen.
They have to know. They have to know that people are going to be like, yeah, this entire plane is part of a class action lawsuit.
Yes, exactly. Like,
thank you for your offer, and no, thank you.
I mean, I would take the money as long as it didn't make it so I couldn't sue in the future, right? Like, if you want to give me money, fine, but I'm not signing anything.
You have to sign a document likely that says, and thus concludes the matter.
No, this does not conclude the matter, because I would honestly, and I'm not making light of it, because I can't imagine how frightening it would be for I don't care where you're sitting, every single person on that flight to get on another plane. I can't. 50% of
50% off for a 50% chance of making it to your destination.
That's quite the deal. That's a sticker price for you. There's some cheap asses, though. They got to get there, and they don't have the money. They might, roll the dice. Natalie says, buy a seat for your baby and bring a car seat. On one emergency landing, a flight attendant told a mom to wrap the baby in a blanket and put it under the seat. The baby was never found.
What?
What?
What do you mean the baby was never found? Never found? Well, where the hell did it go?
What do you
mean?
Did
they crash?
Like, did it roll somewhere?
It's an emergency landing, not a... Oh, I don't know.
Buy a seat for your baby. I'm going to have to Google that, Natalie. I need more details of that story. Is that a urban legend or something like that?
That sounds like that might be it.
Like, that's
I will
crazy.
say, though, that when I traveled, when my little ones were infants, I always brought the car seat and strapped them in.
The only time I ever flew with a lap baby was the first time I flew with Marley. She was, I was about to end, and she was a baby. She was not even 4 months old. Maybe right around. I know this because it was right before I returned from maternity leave, which is as much as they give you in this country. And I wanted to see my brother. And so I took, and it was she was perfect. I had her swaddled, like all attached. You know what I mean? Didn't cry once. One woman, when we were exiting the plane, I waited for everybody before I took all my stuff out. And I'll never forget it. This older woman looks at me. She's like, oh my God, I didn't even know a baby was on this plane. And she's like, she was so good. I was like, yes, thank God. But That was the first.
Could have gone either way, ma'am. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Could have gone either way. But it was also my first kid. I don't know. I think women that breastfed, like you get, like when your first kid, you're like, oh, I can't show myself. By my second kid, I didn't care who saw my boobs. Like I was like, yeah, whatever, breastfeeding over here. So I was like covering myself in blankets and all sorts of things. I never did it again. After that, I was like, nope, everyone's getting their own seat, or my husband's also coming with me. But yeah, I think that was the only time that I ever had a lap kid on a flight. It's not comfortable and it's not something you want to do. So it's actually safer and more comfortable to actually just buy your kid a seat. Okay, let's do some headlines. We'll talk a little bit of politics. Christie dropped out, but before he dropped out, God, was he caught on a hot mic? I don't know. And you know what? I don't knock him for what he said. I am calling it a truth bomb. I think that he's making a good point. But what do you guys, as Kim does her headlines, and before we get to it, what do you think about Christie, the biggest critic of former President Trump, dropping out of the race, and basically Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis being the, fighting for number 2, I guess, on the presidential ticket? Of course, Trump was not there during that debate last night. I don't put that in quotes, debate last night. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be either Haley or DeSantis if it is not Trump. The Iowa caucus is going to tell us so very much on the momentum of those two candidates. I've been talking a lot about eating less meat, but Mark Zuckerberg's meat is making headlines. It grosses me out just because of everything that I learned. And it grosses me out because of how he's boasting about it. So we'll get into that. And of course, Jefferson Graham will be cleaning up our phones in the second part of the show. But before we do all of that, you guys, let's click the thumbs up button. Show your support. If you like what you're seeing and what you're hearing, please support the show in this very quick, easy, and free way. And if you can, please help crowdfund this show. It's how we keep the lights on. The super chat is live. You can donate during the live portion of the show, and we'll read your comment if you leave one. If not, we take them during the replays as well. And then, of course, the number one way to support the show is through our Patreon account. I call you guys my Medorables. Just go to theNikkiMedoroShow.com, theNikkiMedoroShow.com. The Patreon link is there. You could donate any amount. You're only charged one time a month. So think about what you can afford, and we would really, really appreciate it. And if you could bump it up a few bucks from what you paid last month, we'd appreciate that as well. And then PayPal. I know we have PayPal fans out there. Just go to paypal.com, hit the send button, and then put in the email address on your screen, theNikkiMedoroShow@gmail.com. The Nikki Medoro shop is open, theNikkiMedoroShop.com. You can find all sorts of things there. And I just appreciate all of you for helping keeping the show going. All right, let's do some headlines now with Kim.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Okay, let's start with the GOP candidates. This is a fun night last night. Yep. And this morning, they're back on the road after some high-profile events. Last night, before the Iowa caucuses, former President Trump was in a New York courtroom this morning to hear closing arguments in his civil fraud trial after his Iowa Fox News town hall. That was fun. Meanwhile, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis are hitting the stump in Iowa again after their fiery debate on CNN.
Trump was going to give his own closing argument. Remember that? And the judge was like, nah, you can't do that anymore.
You didn't file the right paperwork and your lawyers screwed up. And so you can't. No, that's what they said. I got a message. Someone signed me up. I think I mentioned this. Someone signed me up for President Biden, Kamala Harris campaign emails.
Okay.
And they used the name Jorge. So I keep getting these messages. Dear Jorge, whatever.
Oh, no.
It's kind of funny. Like, all right. That's fine. But it's kind of amusing. And last night I get this message. I'm trying to scroll down and find it. Dear Jorge. Dear Jorge, did you miss the Trump rally in Iowa? It's probably a good thing. You didn't miss much. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And Eric, you're kind of right. The judge said something also to the effect of he had to keep the closing argument to relevant issues, like what it was actually about, because Trump, he's going to start going off on a tangent of some nonsense lie. And so, I think that was also part of the reason why Trump couldn't give his closing argument.
Yeah. Oh, for lies and trouble.
Well, yeah, he was gonna give a closing argument that had nothing to do with what they were talking about. It's a witch. Shut up.
Campaign speech in the courtroom. Right.
Exactly.
There's a new winter storm hitting some parts of the United States that were still cleaning up from the last round of extreme weather. The cold front rolling across the central U.S. today, dumping snow, creating whiteout conditions in several states. To the south, several thunderstorms are possible from Arkansas to the Gulf Coast as well. Hunter Biden getting some backup from First Lady Jill Biden after Republican efforts to get him to testify about his business dealings. Jill Biden claims that what Republicans are doing to the president's son is cruel. House Republicans voted to advance a contempt of Congress resolution against Hunter Biden, teeing up a full House vote and the potential for criminal charges against Hunter Biden. Congress is facing another looming government shutdown deadline. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer today says he is aiming to pass a short-term funding extension next week. Schumer and House Speaker Mike Johnson recently agreed on top-line spending numbers, which a group of House conservatives has spoken out against due to a lack of cuts. I wonder sometimes, are they doing this not only for political gain? Well, this is also political gain, but to tack on those pork bills, like the more spending measures that are necessary and dire that they have, the more pork bills they can slap onto the side. I don't know.
And I think your skepticism is appropriately placed, Kim.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we're talking about plane news. A United flight made an emergency landing after an open door light went off after takeoff. It landed in Tampa safely and departed about an hour and a half later. This was an Airbus A319. It had 120 passengers aboard, according to the New York Post. A spokesperson confirming the landing was taken as a precaution yesterday afternoon, to a possible mechanical issue. This comes after a door plug blew off a Boeing plane during an Alaska Airlines flight last week. Speaking of which, Alaska Airlines is facing new troubles with this passenger jet. Last week, the window blew out of this Alaska Airlines plane mid-flight. Tuesday, an Alaska Airlines flight from Washington State to Honolulu was redirected to Oregon due to an issue with its radios. So,
I mean, I know there's a lot of parts on a plane. Like, I get it. But can we check them all regularly, please? Let's check them all.
Travelers are urged to pack some extra patience at San Francisco International Airport. One of the 4 runways is closing down for 5 months. This will give crews time to reconfigure the taxiways. Officials say that will improve safety and bring the layout up to the latest standards. But it also means a third of passengers flying in or out could face flight delays of up to 30 to 60 minutes. That is from Tuesday all the way through April. So,
okay.
Delays.
Yeah, my brother flies a lot. And so my mom and I have been texting him like, I hope that you're not like missing all your flights. He's like, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. He starts flying again next week. He's keeping his fingers crossed that he's not too impacted, but he flies all the time, so much.
Efforts are underway to keep a San Francisco Safeway from closing. San Francisco Supervisor Dean Preston introducing legislation demanding the only grocery store in the Fillmore district stay open. I don't think you can demand a grocery store stay open.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Exactly. Yeah. What are you going to do for them to keep them open? You know what I mean?
Must stay open. He says the neighborhood has a number of seniors who rely on this Safeway and that it's just not okay. The location does have a history of theft problems, but the company blames low sales, says it agreed to sell the land for a housing and retail project, so they're out.
I had posted, clips of our debate yesterday regarding doing something when people steal stuff. And this, I think, now I've never been to this Safeway. I don't live in San Francisco or that area. The locking up of goods to prevent theft, I think just quickens the loss of revenue that you would have from the stolen goods. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel, and I'm not trying to blame the stores because I know that it's probably not easy or cheap to do something like this, but let's transition. Let's do another thing. Like, okay, I'm not going to lock everything up, but I've talked about this before. Have, pictures of stuff. If you want it, pre-order it, do online, push, ordering online and doing pickup at the store, something like that, because people don't want to walk into a Safeway, a CVS, and see everything locked up. So I'm supposed to hit the button.
Mm-hmm.
I hit the button and you bring me my booze. I walk 2 aisles down. I hit the button. You got to come back and bring me some razors. That's not a way to shop. Nobody wants to shop like that.
Also, he's talking about the elderly in the neighborhood. So how savvy are they to order online? I don't know.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but we could figure it out. I mean, can't we figure it out? We can figure it out. They know somebody. If they can figure out how to drive somewhere, they can figure out how to get somebody to help them order their stuff and then put their stuff into a regular thing or call. And there's somebody on the other line, like, what do you need? And they can figure it out for you.
2 teachers in California are getting back to teaching after suing a school district over a pronoun policy. Teachers Lorianne West and Elizabeth Mirabelli sued the Escondido Unified School District down in the San Diego area, saying the district wanted them to lie to parents. In the district, teachers are required to refer to students by their preferred pronouns and names at school. But to parents, they have to use the biological pronoun and legal name if they don't have student consent. West and Mirabelli say this violates their First Amendment rights, while the district says this protects students who aren't ready to come out to their families. A federal judge agreed with the teachers back in September, but Rincon Middle School still kept them on leave. Now, a judge says Rincon must allow them to come back to work.
Interesting. Again, I always go, like, can teachers just teach and just let kids, like, I don't know how it is at your school. I know it's different for every school, but my kids always come home, tell me about yourself, nicknames, pronouns, whatever. And then that's it. That's the last I ever hear about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. So
scripts from the sitcom Friends are up for auction after they were rescued from a recycling bin.
What?
Yeah, the
people
pages.
know money when they see it.
The pages for the one with Ross's wedding, part 1 and part 2, were supposed to be destroyed after the episodes were filmed in a London suburb to avoid the end being leaked. But an unnamed former studio employee discovered them in the trash, put them in a drawer. Auctioneers set the guide price for the scripts between $760 and $1,000.
Oh, that's it? I was thinking it was going to be more than that. Okay. I mean, hold on to trash for $1,000.
Probably will be. I mean, I would think it would go for more than that, but I don't know. Maybe because there's so many scripts from that show because it ran for so long, they're not rare.
So maybe, but if they just, and I don't know what the protocol was for all the other scripts, right? So, I mean, if there's not that many left, I would say that the ones that are left are valuable. But then, I don't know. Can you just print out another copy? I don't know how that works.
I wonder if they're counting Taco Bell's, Nikki's Taco Bell in this next story. 99% of Americans have a Mexican restaurant in their county.
Oh, hell yeah. In California or across the United States?
Across the United States. A new analysis from the Pew Research Center shows more than 1 in 10 restaurants in the U.S. serve Mexican food. 85% of U.S. counties have at least one Mexican restaurant. The rest of those counties are more sparsely populated and account for just 4 million Americans. Just over half of those restaurants are in California, Texas, Illinois, New York, and Florida. Wow. Yeah, we have more than one. We have a bunch.
I'm surrounded. I don't think I could throw a rock and not hit a Mexican restaurant. Like, I swear to God, there's so many. And I'm not, I don't hate it. I mean, I got my favorites. I got Taco Bell to real Mexican food, but actually went to Mexican food tonight. So there you go.
You know that fruit stripe gum?
Oh, I heard about this and I was like, who the hell? Who in the comments would spend a penny on this freaking gum? Bye. Go ahead.
The iconic gum featured fruit-inspired flavors, a zebra print wrapper, and a zebra mascot on their package. You know, the fruit stripe gum.
Yeah.
It was first sold in the 1960s, came with a temporary tattoo of Yipes the Zebra. Ferrera, which owns the other candy brands like Nerds and Fun Dip as well, said the decision to discontinue the fruit stripe gum was very difficult. Those looking to get their hands on the gum may be able to still find it at retailers across the country before it sells out one final time.
All right. Now, look, if you guys don't remember what it looks like, here's a picture of it. Now, fruit stripe gum, it is literally like the joke of people. Like, my patience lasts as long as this gum. That's the gum. Because literally you put it in your mouth, you chew it for like 5 times and the flavor is gone. The flavor is never lasting. It's so gross. And then you're just chewing like like gum, but like unflavored gum. It's disgusting. So I'm not surprised. I am not surprised that this gum is going over. The nostalgia of it I could get, but
Calvin liked
stripe
it.
Gum, you liked it.
Doesn't like that gum. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't last long. If you liked that gum, then you know that the flavor lasted like a heartbeat. That's it. It didn't last long at all.
Ren liked it.
I liked Big League Chew. I liked Hubba Bubba. I'm talking about like sugar gum, right? Like gum, like candy gum. Yeah, those are my two. Great.
What about Big Red?
That's sugarless gum, isn't it? Like Big Red.
I think so. It's spicy. I'm surprised you don't like that because it's very.
I mean, I do like. I mean, a cinnamon gum is okay. I like hot tamales. There's a difference, but I think it's not. I guess it's not sugar. I guess it's not sugarless gum.
Cancer-causing hot tamales? No thanks.
Dude, honestly, if it's causing cancer, I got cancer. As many hot tamales as I've eaten in my life, like if there is a case of, I don't think that ish is true, it's me. I don't, knock on wood, have cancer yet, and knock on wood. But yeah, I eat my weight in hot tamales. I'm just saying, if I'm gonna have gum like blowing bubble gum, Hubba Bubba and Big League Chew, that's the best. That's the best gum in my opinion. Big Red, it's like okay, but no, and you can't really blow bubble. That's not like bubble gum. I like bubble gum if I'm gonna chew gum, right?
Yeah. Lori says Big Red is cinnamon gum, not sugarless. Tastes like hot tamales, actually, which is why I would think that you would like it. But hey.
Yeah, it's never a gum that I've ever sought out. I'll be honest. I've eaten it, right? I've chewed it. I should say. I've definitely chewed it, but no. If I'm gonna go with like that kind of like stick gum, usually I would choose like a mint gum or something like that. But no, if I'm gonna, I mean, besides flying on an airplane, when do I chew gum? Do you chew gum often? I don't chew gum that much. I'm not much of a gum chewer. So no, it's not. I have mints. I have you know what I do have to freshen my breath is the breath spray. That's what I use.
I like a good Tic Tac.
Tic Tac's candy. I only like the orange ones and then I eat the whole container.
I like the Christmas Tic Tacs. They have these candy cane Tic Tacs that they're not the spearmint, but they're peppermint. Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's the problem with a Tic Tac is if you like the Tic Tac, then you like to eat more than one Tic Tac.
The orange ones. My dad always used to have Tic Tacs in his car. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, this is a total childhood memory that's just coming back to me. I'd sit in his car, I'd open it of his Cadillac, and I'd open it, and he'd always have orange Tic Tacs. And I was like, give me a Tic Tac. But it was candy. I wasn't using it to. Orange Tic Tacs do not freshen your breath. I'm going to say that. But yeah.
We get what you did there, Spencer. Gum prices ballooned.
There you go. But yeah, I just I'm not much of a gum chewer, bubble gum. But yeah, if I'm gonna chew gum, I want to blow bubbles.
Yeah.
Hubba Bubba, Big League Chew is bomb. I could eat that. And sometimes I just admit things and I'm so stupid. But I'm a gum swallower. So
God. Well, y'all have our things.
I knew you were gonna say now I don't really chew gum, but when I did chew gum. Yeah, no, I remember I sat in the back when I was in high school with my friends and like I just ate pack after pack after gum like it was candy. Oh
God. Didn't they ever tell you? And I don't even know if this is
true. It's not true. I know it's not true.
Swallow that, it'll stay in your stomach forever.
It just passes through whole.
They're probably right now. There's you've got wads of gum in your belly.
No, I remember I had my two best friends in the front seat. I was in the back seat. We were watching Clueless at the drive-ins. Never forget it. And I was just eating gum like it was candy. And then my friend's like, hey, can I have a piece of gum? And I looked and I was like, there's none left. She's like, what do you mean there's none left? And I was like, I ate it all. So yeah,
you don't eat gum. You don't swallow gum.
I did. I'm admitting it. I'm saying that I did. I'm a gum. I
do you still do that?
I don't really chew gum anymore, but you know what? The truth of the matter is, if you gave me a piece of Hubba Bubba and I was done with it, I'd probably swallow it. I might. I don't know. I'm an adult now. I don't know.
You have to spit it out.
I guess, but see, I'm not the only one. Spencer in high school, I did the same as Nikki.
Oh, Spencer.
It's not true that it stays in your stomach. That is total BS. Your stomach, it doesn't break it down, but you just poop it out. It's a myth. See, Lori. Thank you, Lori. See,
Eric
you fall
agrees.
for all those things.
Still, don't swallow the gum.
Why? It doesn't hurt. Thank
Not
you.
meant to be swallowed. It's meant to be chewed and spit away.
Yeah, but sometimes I don't mean to. Like, it's so good. Like grape Hubba Bubba. If I'm just like salivating over it and then I swallow a little too hard, there it goes.
Oh God, no. It's like swallowing toothpaste. Why would you do this?
Ew! Nobody swallows toothpaste.
Apparently, Nikki Medoro might.
I do not.
Lord knows she swallows everything.
There's a difference between toothpaste that you're brushing all the plaque off your teeth versus delicious grape flavored gum. Give me a break. No. Don't judge me, woman.
Well, I was thinking last night of all the weird things people do.
I'm full of them.
I mean, and it's true. We all have these weird things we do. You probably already know that I try to cover my ears at night because I don't want spiders to crawl in. And my grandmother taught me once that if you drive by a cemetery, you have to hold your hair.
Why? What is that?
Otherwise, the spirits will scare it out and you'll have thin hair. So you hold your hair as you pass the cemetery.
Like this? Like you go like over your head or like just the bottom?
Like grab it in a ponytail. You grab it in a ponytail and you hold it all while you're passing the cemetery.
I've never heard that.
Right.
I never heard that.
I know it's the weirdest thing. I've never have either, but my grandma told me, so it must be true.
You do it every time still?
Every time. And now all my kids, as if I have so many, my kids do it now too. Mm-hmm.
You know what I do? I raise my feet every time I go over train tracks.
Oh, I don't do that. Why?
And there's no, I don't know. I started doing it in high school. I don't think that I think it's a good luck thing. Anybody know why? But my husband still does it. We've done it since we were kids. Like you just raise your feet over the tracks and like light rail tracks, train tracks, anything. As you go over them, you lift your feet. And when you go over them.
My grandpa said that if you hold your breath all the way through the rainbow tunnel and make a wish in the middle of the tunnel, your wish will come true.
I love those. Sure. No problem. I anything that like it brings me good luck, I'll totally do. Absolutely.
I hold my breath all the way through the rainbow tunnel, which it turns out isn't very long. But I tried it in the Broadway tunnel in the city once. I can't make it through that one, especially in traffic. It's a party over.
No. All passing out in the car, and they're like, "What happened?" You're like, "Holding my breath." Apparently, it didn't bring me any good luck.
So I'm laying there thinking last night about all the weird things I do, like with the holding of the hair and the putting the hair over the ears. And now I'm thinking to myself, I have no right to judge you for swallowing your bubble gum. Although I do judge a little bit on that. I have to say.
It's just, I mean, technically it's food. And also, by the way, I think, and I could be totally making this up, which I probably am, but I think I'm right. I don't think that you're allowed to create something that people put in their mouth that they can't swallow. That's like at least a little bit, right? I just don't think so. Because then it's dangerous.
He used to swallow the shells of sunflower seeds.
I used to do that, but I wouldn't just swallow. I mean, I would just chew the whole thing. I wouldn't separate the inside from the outside.
Kim, you have to make a wish. That's the part of it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Janet says, I do that through the rainbow tunnel too. My dad told me to do it. Yeah, it's a Bay Area thing. Absolutely.
I do it through every tunnel. I hold my breath through every tunnel, but I don't necessarily make a wish. I just hold my breath. Oh, and we honk the horn. You have to honk the horn in the tunnel. I know it's annoying, but I don't care. They say, don't honk the horn. I honk the horn. Ren's never heard of any of our superstitions. I have heard holding your breath in a tunnel. See, that's what I would do. Hold the breath. But I wouldn't make a wish, but I'll make a wish now. Why not?
Yeah, my grandpa said make a wish.
All right.
And then he passed away. And now I like halfway through the tunnel, I'm making my wish. I'm crying. I'm like, Grandpa, I miss you. I know.
All right. Is that the last of your stories?
This report is sponsored by you. Sorry, got off on a little tangent there. This report is sponsored by you, and that means we do rely on you to help us fund this amazing, fun, wild show that we do. TheNikkiMedoroShow.com. TheNikkiMedoroShow.com. That's where we live on the internet. Please find it and see the Patreon and the PayPal link there as well. I'm Kim McAllister. This is, you see that girl right there, The Nikki Medoro Show.
Yes, indeed. All right. Okay, so let's get into a few things. Again, Jefferson Graham will join us in about 15 minutes or so. Get your phones ready if you want help. Never put your purse on the floor. It will make you lose money.
Really? Mama Day 3 boys with a good one for the win. Okay.
You know, my husband I always put my purse like in the center console or in front of like my little shifter, and my husband hates it. He's like, you put all of your stuff like on your lap, and it always puts my purse on the floor. So now I have a reason to tell him to stop it. Stop putting my purse on the floor. What if you
go to a restaurant? I always put my purse on the floor right at my feet.
Ew! Do not put your purse on the floor at public places.
Where do you put it? You hang it from the back of the chair where it could get ripped off? Someone walking by just grabs it?
Normally, you know where I put it? I put it behind my, so if I'm sitting in a seat, I put it behind my butt.
Really?
Yeah, most of the time. Unless there is a hook, or I put it on the chair next to me. Yeah, I put it behind me.
Yeah.
But I've also I've been moving away from purses. I'm not the cool kid over here. I've been using like a fanny pack forever.
Oh my God.
I don't wear it like a fanny pack, but
now
I
I'm really going to judge you. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I thought I shared this story about, I don't know if I shared it here. I was Christmas shopping in Target, and thank God I actually started to wear my fanny pack because I wanted my hands free because I had my list and everything. So I actually put my fanny pack on, and I was so distracted that for aisles and aisles and aisles, I had taken somebody else's cart. I looked down, it was filled with like dog treats and stuff. It was not, and I tried to find the person. I had to go back to the middle of the store. And if my purse was in there, been gone. I apologize. I left a stranger's cart in the middle of the aisle just so they could find it. But yeah, my fanny pack comes in handy.
Parents spitting on their kids to protect them from the evil eye. My mother and grandmother used to say, "You're so beautiful, I could spit." Fortunately, they didn't. Very Eastern European. Wow.
I've heard of that.
Really?
I've pretended to do that before. I'm like, and I pretend I'm spitting at people. Yeah, I've done that. I've totally done that. And I didn't even know it was Eastern European.
God.
I thought it was from some like horror movie I've seen before. But yeah. Yeah, Sandy says supposedly putting your purse on the floor means you lose money. I still do it sometimes though when there's nowhere else for it to go, but I don't like it. I don't like putting my purse on the floor because it's gross. Like they did a study about all the gross stuff that's on the bottom of women's purses. Don't read it if you've ever. And then they put it on their dinner table or they put it on the couch. It's gross. Yeah.
No.
If you do it, like just wipe it off. Like, yeah, don't do it.
Ew.
Yeah, it's kind of gross. All right, let's get into a few more things before Jefferson Graham joins us. So I want to shout out our friend Kim Schaffer. And I'm sorry, Kim, I did not download the video. I should have. She texts me last night and she's like, "Be proud of me." And basically shows me what I will say, Kim, was a very delicious, it looked like some sort of stew or stir fry. I don't know. It was bubbly with all these vegetables and everything in it. It looked really good. She's like, because of you trying to eat healthier, get your veggies in and all sorts of stuff. She's like, I would have rather had a hamburger or junk food or something like that. But she made a very delicious meal and I applaud you because I'm trying to move away from meat. So this headline stuck out to me. Mark Zuckerberg is raising Wagyu beef on a macadamia nut diet on Hawaii's Kauai.
I love this story.
So apparently he's a cattle rancher.
He's feeding them mac nuts and beer, these cows.
Yeah, so he owns $170 million worth of land on Kauai. He's building a $100 million compound there, apparently with this huge bunker. He's one of those doomer people. So then he posts on Facebook. He's sitting at a table. He has this huge steak in front of him. And he writes, "My goal is to create some of the highest quality beef in the world. The cattle are Wagyu and Angus. They'll grow up eating macadamia meal and drinking beer that we grow and produce on the ranch." Okay, so single Wagyu cows, where the beef comes from, the cows, they can go for as much as $30,000 a piece. Macadamia nuts are the most expensive nuts on the planet. And it takes a lot of land. He says the cows eat 5,000 to 10,000 pounds of food every year. He admitted that feeding 1,000-pound animals a diet of ground up nuts would require a lot of acres of trees. So SFGate did the math. They said one mature macadamia nut can produce 65 pounds of nuts using 4,800 gallons of water. If fed only macadamia nuts, one Zuckerberg cow could eat about 150 trees, requiring 740,000 gallons of water per year. Even though it's wet, I guess, in Kauai, it seems gross to me. It really, really does. Why, when you know what cattle does to the planet, why use so much of that gorgeous land, right? To breed something like that I don't even care like that it's high quality beef because I still do like steak. Don't get me wrong. I still like steak. But why do that? It seems, am I wrong here? It seems so wasteful to me. It seems so gluttonous. It seems so the gross part of wealth, right? I mean, I love macadamia nuts. I would rather have humans eating the nuts than to ground it up and feed it to cows. And I also don't know what macadamia nuts do to the cow's diet, because cattle, not to be too gross, their burps and their farts do more for to contribute to global warming than your car does. Just letting you know. More of that gas, this is methane gas, it's worse than the carbon dioxide that comes out of your car. Okay. So I don't know if a macadamia nut diet does something to the burps and farts and makes them so they're not so bad. But it just seems like we should be moving away from meat, Zuckerberg. You should be using all of that money and all of those acres to, how about this? Feed people. Don't feed cows to feed people a diet that's probably still not very good. I don't know. It really, really grossed me out. He's like, my daughters help plant the macadamia nut trees and take care of our different animals. We're still in the early journey, and it's fun improving on it every season. Of all my products, this is the most delicious. I wanted to show you a picture of him with this gigantic steak. Hold on. And it's just, I don't know, man. Here he is.
I don't think that, look at all that steak.
Exactly.
I don't think that they're going to have to use water for the macadamia nut trees, because they'll grow down into the water table, and it's a wet island, right? So I read that article too, and they're like, this is how many gallons of water it will take to grow the macadamia nut trees to, feed the cows. What they did say was the macadamia nuts are sold for, they're pretty expensive nuts.
Yes.
I don't know if you've tried to buy
them.
They're
the most expensive nut. Yes.
These cows will be eating very expensive meals. So how much could he sell this meat for? Or maybe he doesn't sell it. Maybe he just gifts it to his rich friends. I don't know.
I mean, I would imagine he's putting this much money into it to make money. But I guess my point is, I mean, put the water aside, even put the macadamia nuts aside. Like, why not use your influence and your money to get people off of meat? Like, meat universe, like, the earth is not going to be able to afford Zuckerberg meat, right? So why do this? It just seems there's a better use of your time, money, and effort to better most of the planet, instead of creating something for the 0.001% of the planet. It just seems, again, misplaced at the very least, and gross at the very worst. I don't like it. I feel like this is it's a hat tip to the very, very rich and exclusive. Who's going to spend this much money? Most people can't even afford regular Wagyu beef. And now we got Zuckerberg's macadamia nut beef. I don't want Zuckerberg's meat. I think Zuckerberg's meat is gross and it's way too expensive, and he shouldn't have wasted his time creating it.
I don't know about gross. I mean, I bet it would be pretty good.
Well, I mean, gross as in for the planet. I bet it is. Yeah. I mean, although, have you ever had Wagyu beef?
I think I have, yes.
It is very fatty. I mean, it's very marbled. That's what they say.
Yeah.
You don't say fatty, you say marbled.
I have to tell you though, I'm not the person that when you order something orders the steak.
Oh, see, I am.
Yeah.
I'm a steak eater, and I love ribeye. Like, so I can't afford Wagyu beef, but I love a ribeye, which also is a very marbled steak. But with Wagyu, you need to like cook it a certain way to render all that marbling out, because it is a rich, and I don't mean money, I mean like taste, rich piece of meat. Yeah, Kim, I'm not putting your meat in my mouth either, Zuck. Come on now.
I don't want your Zuckerberg's meat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's a meat shop in Morgan Hill, Gilroy, that sells incredibly expensive meat. It's white with fat. Now, again, I just don't know, man. I mean, I like ribeye. I think that's as fatty as I really like to go. Wagyu beef is good if it's cooked the right way. I would only get it in a like a high-end restaurant, like I was splurging on something, but I wouldn't want to try to cook it myself, because you definitely need to cook it a certain way. I think my husband tried to cook it for me, and it was rich. And but yeah, I just think, Zuckerberg, do better. Is that wrong to say? Like, you created Facebook, which I don't know. I wish it would go away, right? I mean, even though I use it, I'm totally it's social media. Just I think there's more negatives than positives when we talk about stuff like that and the addiction to it all. And now you're going into the meat industry. Just do something else. Just do something else. Brian, if it weren't for the very rich idiots, how do we ever know who's poor? Poor and smart, I would have to say. So
somebody put a chat in that said he's bored. He's way too bored, way too much time on his hands. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I bet that's right. So what? I mean, he does his jujitsu thing. He never fought Elon Musk, which I'm highly disappointed about. He has his bunker. You know, he's a prepper or doomsdayer person. I mean, this bunker in Hawaii is apparently gigantic. And when we talked about it before, I'm like, what does Zuckerberg know that we're not aware of if he's putting this much time? But it could just be that he's bored. Like, why not? I'm rich. I might as well have a plan B, C, D, E, all the way to Z. And now he's got the meat. So I don't know. Maybe he's creating it all so he could store it all in his doomsday bunker. I don't know. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Well, it's 10 o'clock. It is Thursday. And that means we are going to switch gears. So last week I had shared with you and our friend Jefferson Graham that I bought the new iPhone 15. And now Jefferson is back to tell us how I can get the most space, most protection for all the things I love on my phone. Welcome back to the show, Jefferson Graham.
Well, thank you. Good to see both of you.
I see you're in a different location because you do not.
No. I'm in the same location. I bought a new rug in Tijuana, and I hung it behind me. Do we like the new look?
Yeah, I mean, you're a little darker than you normally are, I will admit.
How about now? Am I still too dark?
I think it's the background that, you know, it's not as bright as that one picture that you had blown up before. But I like the rug. It's a very nice, pretty rug.
Okay, I could turn the lights brighter, but
I could see you perfectly.
Okay.
All right. Well, so hello. Yes. You promised us a lot of tips and tricks today, so I'm going to hold you to that, my friend.
Yeah.
Now you sent me a picture that you wanted me to share on the show. Do I share that now, or are you going to tell me when?
Well. No, wait a minute for that one. I also sent you a video if it would be easier, but you've got the video, you've got the four pictures.
I've got the photo. I don't have the video.
But I want to talk about iCloud, okay? Because Nikki just bought herself a new iPhone with 256 gigabytes of storage, which is great. She's welcoming into the new century.
I am.
The issue that everybody has is that they're going to run out of room. It's going to happen. We take a lot of pictures, we download apps, we do things. The phone, you know, you can't add extra memory later. So what you going to do? Apple wants you to pay $10 a month for 2 terabytes of storage, which Nikki will never do.
I don't want to do that now.
Right. I believe she's either paying $1 for 50 gigabytes.
$1.99. $1.99 is enough for me. Yes.
$1.99 for 200 gigabytes, I believe. And that is less than 256. So she will never be clear. So here's what you have to understand about iCloud Photos is that you will get a nag message from Apple that says you've run out of room.
Right.
You better make room. And you will start deleting pictures off your phone. And when you do that, they all get deleted from iCloud at the same time. iCloud is not a backup service. It's a mirror of your phone. But there is a trick here. If you want to work with iCloud and make it work for you, we're going to go into settings.
Okay. So
that's where we're going to show the picture.
Okay, so let me bring up the picture really quickly. This is the picture that Jefferson sent. So we're going to go to settings and then iCloud.
The first thing we go to is at the top of the screen, and I want to open it up so I can be totally in sync with you, is your name. Right. Your name is at the top. You're going to click that. Okay, and then 5 down is iCloud. We're going to click that.
Oh, geez, I'm almost done.
Then we're going to click on the photos.
Okay.
Here is the magic formula.
Okay.
It says optimize phone storage or download and keep originals.
Right.
You want to have optimized phone storage clicked.
I do.
Okay.
I already have that clicked.
So now what's happening is every time you take a picture, you're taking a high resolution shot that gets uploaded to iCloud, but a low resolution version is on your phone. Got that?
I have that.
So
I have 17,881 photos and 2,485 videos.
Yeah, I bet you do.
That's a
and
lot.
How much? And can we check the storage? I'd love to hear how much you have. So we're okay. We go back
terrible.
We go back to settings.
Yes.
Okay. We go back to settings and we go into general.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Go to general and then go to iPhone storage.
Okay.
I'd like to hear how much of 256 gigabytes you've got.
I have 100. I've used 123 gigabytes.
Okay. So hopefully you'll be okay. Hopefully these are low resolution versions. The videos are not low resolution versions.
Most of my storage is apps. So at least according to the color thing. Yeah, that's what they say.
Wow.
Well, because they have it on the color bar.
Right.
It goes applications, messages, and then photos.
Okay.
But then when I went into my name and the iCloud, this is what I want you to explain. And I go into iCloud at the very top.
Yeah.
iCloud's mostly used for photos because I'm assuming iCloud doesn't use.
It has
apps
to be.
Don't. Apps don't use it. Right?
It has to be.
Yeah.
Because apps are not that big. What is really happening is that the apps are your photo apps. And they're all your photos are within the apps. That's what that means.
Okay.
I guarantee you that your Facebook and Instagram and whatever else and Uber are less than 25 to 50 gigabytes. I mean, they're very small. They're 3. Anyway. So if you have the low resolution version and you want the high resolution version, you click when you open it up, you can download the high resolution version. So that's how that works.
So Jefferson, I just want to under the iPhone storage banner, okay, that I'm in, where I told you how much storage I have, 123 gigabytes I've used already. The number one app that they say that I've used that has the most gigabyte use is messages.
Okay, so you have a lot of videos in your messages and photos in your messages.
So it says 12.3 gigabytes is just the conversations, 2.7 gigabytes is photos, and 12 gigabytes is videos. So the conversations and the videos are taking up almost the same amount of space.
Do you need to keep all the messages?
I don't know why. So how do I fix that? Change it for. I guess I don't have to save my messages forever.
Well, you could be deleting messages, and we could also come up with a plan for next week on.
Kim McAllister, you're using a whole gigabyte for my messages. I'm just letting you know.
What?
Yeah, I have it listed here. You are 4th behind my daughter, my husband, and my 2 best friends.
I send you a lot of good stuff. That's why. I send you a lot of pictures.
1 whole gigabyte I give to you, my friend.
A lot of videos. Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
Actually, I wear that as a badge of honor. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to get back to backup for 1 second because it's very important that
come on, ladies, pay attention. Okay, go ahead.
People do not use iCloud as a crutch. Do not say, well, everything's backed up in iCloud. I'm in great shape. Because, I mean, they're going to delete stuff off your phone. If you delete stuff off your phone, you need to have a secondary backup, whether that's a hard drive, whether that's a flash drive. I just did a video, full video on this, but I haven't finished it yet, but it's 8 minutes long. So, and I've got a lot of B-roll to stick in there. So, but everybody needs something. Where do I have a hard drive here? Somewhere on my desk, but it's all hidden. Oh, here's one. Nah, you can't really see it.
Yeah, I can see
anyway.
A little bit.
Okay. And a flash drive, and they're easy enough to pick up. And if you have the new iPhone, you can stick it right into the iPhone and and make copies of everything you have. These are your digital memories. These are your lives. This is 2020 to 2023. And in 2030, if you lose your phone and you don't take any action, all those images are gone forever. And if Apple could change their policy, Apple could shift gears on you and say, well, we're not doing it anymore. Amazon Prime. Also talking about backup, Nikki, you need to have the Amazon Photos app. Do you subscribe to Amazon Prime?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so all photo backup is unlimited and free at Amazon.
Amazon.
if you're a Prime subscriber. So download the Amazon Photos app and just say suck in all my photos.
Oh, I used to have it. I guess I have to re-download it, but it looks like I used to have it on my phone.
But
Interesting.
it's, since you're paying for Prime, you get unlimited storage. Now, I would just say that the only snag is that Amazon could change their mind one day and say, well, we're not doing it anymore. And that's why I want you to also have a local backup.
Interesting. Okay.
Lori has a question for you. She wants us to ask you how to download messages if you need them for legal reasons or something like that. I just take a screenshot, but I don't know if that would hold up in court.
How do you download a message? Well, let's see. Let's open one up. I would go with Kim and do a screenshot. Is there a download button in here? There is not, but some people get really good about this. Let me. I don't have the answer for you.
That's all right.
But a
we'll
screenshot
look
will
it up
help.
and get back to you, Lori. But I just take a screenshot. Yeah.
And sometimes I also email myself. If you don't want to have a picture, I'll email myself things because I feel like my email. I never delete my email either, Jefferson. I'm a paper hoarder and apparently a digital paper hoarder as well.
Apparently, I have 100,000 emails in Gmail that I've never read.
Oh, I have so many, and it's too hard. And Gmail, and I don't know if you have a trick for this. There's no easy way to delete all. I could delete the page, which only has 50 messages. When you have thousands of messages, do you know how long that takes? That's why I leave it. I'm like, screw it.
You could actually expand it to 100, but it'll take forever. We could spend the next 5 months trying to clean up our Gmail and never get anywhere, or just pay extra money, and that's what I end up doing.
Funny. Mama Three Boys, is there a way to get Amazon Photos without Prime? I would assume you just.
Oh yeah, and you'll just pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll just pay for it. The thing is that with Prime, it's free, and Prime is $140 a year.
And I don't feel like, I have a love-hate relationship with Prime. I feel like because I do watch things on Prime Video, that's why I pay for Prime more than the 2-day shipping doesn't really even exist anymore. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily come in 2 days. Not that I think that it needs to. I think they spoiled us a bit, but it doesn't feel like many things they're keeping that promise anymore.
In my world, at 5 o'clock, I will order something and it's here the next day. And I go, how did that happen?
Maybe I was a little titoed over Christmas because we ordered a bunch of stuff. And I just got a gift from my son, which was a mat with his face on it. And it just arrived the other day. Like, he ordered it off Amazon and it took forever to get here. So I think I'm just a little burnt by that. But yeah. And then Spencer says it's hard to unsubscribe from Prime. But if you get the photo storage, I would say that that's worth it. Absolutely, I would say that's worth it.
Yeah, I don't think their interface is as good as other people, and I'm always worried that Amazon is going to change their mind. For instance, you were talking about Prime Video. It's free. It's commercial free entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, now it's not.
No.
Now they have ads in there, and you have to pay an extra $3 a month if you don't want to see their stupid ads. I haven't found much to watch on Amazon Prime, so Nikki, fill us in. What are you watching past Mrs. Maisel?
I do love. Yeah, that's not on right now. What do I watch on Prime Video? I watch some videos.
They have movies on there.
Yeah, they have a lot of the movies that I want to watch. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't think I just watched Saltburn.
What did you think of that? That looks kind of weird.
There's a bathtub scene, a bathtub water scene. Anybody has seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That I vomited a little in my mouth. It was kind of gross. But it was okay. I wasn't bored. I wasn't bored watching it, so that gives it a couple stars. But would I watch it again? No, I would never watch it again.
They're also very aggressive on promoting things. Way more.
Yes.
I have an Amazon Fire TV. I don't know about you. So everything is Amazon, and so the minute I turn on the TV, Amazon is just hounding me with stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Ron says The Patriot. He started The Patriot on Prime. Says it's good so far. I have Hulu plus live TV. I have Prime. I have Apple TV.
You got a lot of stuff. For somebody who is as cheap as she says, you're spending a lot more money than I am.
You know who makes me not cheap is my husband. He's like, I have a show I'm watching on that. You can't cancel it. He makes me spend money. He's the spender. I'm the saver. So, and then I'm like, fine. And then it's only $5 a month or $6 a month or $11 a month.
Or 10 or 15,
or whatever. And I'm like,
19,
but it adds up every single month. Believe me. You do not need to convince me to cancel something. I will cancel it today if I need to. But my husband, he loves it.
I had YouTube TV and I canceled it 2 years ago and have never looked back. I have no cable. I have no cable alternatives. I don't get CNN. I don't get MSNBC, but I get all the news. Believe it or not, I get it all.
Yeah. I need my football. I do have Peacock. I'll be watching that Kansas City game. I do have Peacock. But I could cancel it, but again, we can't cancel till the football season's over, obviously. I have too much stuff. I pay way too much money for things, so I got to save in other ways, and that's by not buying a new iPhone every year, Jefferson. That's how I save money. Look how much money I save by not doing that.
My New Year's resolution is to declutter, and that includes decluttering all those apps too, like all that stuff. I'm just cutting. It's all going.
Big thank you from Grady, Jefferson Graham. I just optimized my photos. So there we go.
Yay.
Very good.
All right. Any other tips and tricks to give people before we let you go?
I have an iPhone photography class that starts next Wednesday. It's online, and you could sign up at my website, jeffersongraham.net. So I'm doing in-depth for 4 weeks. So if you want to check that out. I also did this wonderful episode of PhotoWalks TV in Petaluma with Kim. And I'm thinking, what do you think we premiere it right here next Thursday?
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. Yes, let's do that. I love seeing my friend blush. My friend that gets a whole gig out of my phone. That friend. Yes, absolutely. Let's do that next Thursday. We will definitely do that. And that is must watch show next Thursday with Jefferson Graham. Okay, so everyone optimize their phone. Let's leave them with they need to go get an external hard drive to save all those things. If you have Prime, look into Amazon Photos, although you say, they could change the rules. So I would say,
but why not? The thing is, why not?
Right. But I would say, if you're going to start doing it and you're really going to commit, I just get the external hard drive, put the date until the thing's filled up, and then throw it in a drawer like you do your photo albums. I mean, it's kind of the same thing if you think about it, if you want to have those photos, or you can print them out and go old school.
Yeah. Well, you need to have them locally as well as online.
There you go. Yeah. All right, Jefferson, we will talk next Thursday with the premiere of your trip to Petaluma with our friend Kim McAllister. So thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Talk to you then. Bye-bye. All right, that's Jefferson Graham. Again, find the link to PhotoWalks TV in the show description as we put it every Thursday. I want to see where you live. I love the pictures that he took.
Yeah, he took some amazing pictures. I just I hate myself on video.
Stop. Oh, God.
If I could live without this particular shot right here, I could just put the picture up.
I was thinking of you yesterday. I was driving in downtown Willow Glen, which anybody that's in San Jose knows exactly what it is. And I was looking around because I was quite jealous of your downtown Petaluma and how cute it was with everything. Mm-hmm. I was like, you know what? Downtown Willow Glen is just as cute. I don't know if it has like the history, you know what I mean? Yeah. But the cute shops and the little boutiques and everything like that. So if you're in my neck of the woods, it doesn't necessarily have the history, but it does have the cutesy walkabout town.
I'm sure it has some history because didn't it used to be like all orchards there? And
well, that was like kind of more East San Jose. I do not think, I mean, Willow Glen, I would imagine it had like willow trees or something. I have no idea. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the history of Willow Glen. I do know it's below the water table, so it floods a bit. So be careful. But I love Willow Glen. I've lived between Willow Glen and the Cambrian area my whole life. So anybody that knows San Jose knows that. And it's very cute. I go get my eyebrows done in Willow Glen. So there you go. All right. Let's talk a little bit about, since we just talked to Jefferson about our phones, and I wanted to do this yesterday. Willow Glen did have orchards. Thank you, SJ Lola. CES. So the Consumer Electronics thingamabobber. It's been happening in Las Vegas. And there's some, thanks to the Washington Post, they kind of walked us through some of the unique off-the-wall type things. There's one, and I think it's in this montage because I've been watching a lot of them, but it's this headband that apparently helps you sleep. totally looks really, really cool. But some of these things, I'm like, is it ever
How does
going?
a headband help you sleep?
It does something like it zaps some sort of thing, and it's supposed to help you sleep or whatever. I don't know.
I want to be zapped in my sleep. No thanks.
Here's a little bit from CES.
You can always count on Samsung to bring some really interesting stuff to CES. There have been a few standouts already. There is the world's first transparent micro LED wall. So basically a display that you can see right through.
Wow.
Called music frames, which are speakers you can stick on your wall and double as art pieces. But maybe the weirdest and most interesting thing we saw this year was Bali, this AI-powered home robot with a projector that's meant to work as kind of a catch-all home assistant. Hey, buddy. It's Samsung's first attempt at a serious home companion robot. They say it's going to ship this year, and it's got a projector built in, so it can communicate with you, show you greetings, and even project stuff onto a wall. Samsung really looks at this as a catch-all home companion. So theoretically, you'll be able to use this as a secondary display for your PC, a remote telemedicine tool for people who are homebound, like seniors. Some of these features haven't been fully fleshed out yet. And in truth, there are some key details Samsung just hasn't worked through. Those details and other things like the price are kind of being worked out right now. So it's tough to say exactly how good a value this is. But between announcements like this and others we've seen from companies like LG, which announced its own AI agent robot this year, it feels like we're finally getting to the point where you maybe actually would want a little robo-companion tooting around your house.
No. Okay, so what do you think about the little robo-companion? I'm saying no. I think that's a big fat waste of money. It's too small. Nugget will destroy it, like chase it around. I want a Roomba. I can't get a Roomba. The dog would just go nuts. Right?
So it was developed originally to have this camera that you could put it around the perimeter of your house and it would basically secure the premises.
Right.
Right. And now it's really more of a projection
companion
thing.
Yeah.
So why you need it can project a picture, video, whatever on the floor. It can project it onto your desk or work surface, and it can project it onto the wall. Why would you need that?
Why would I need that? Why do I need? And now when he mentioned, those that, have mobility issues or something like that, I get that, but I feel like your phone, which most people can keep in their pocket or on their, if you're in a wheelchair, like a bag or whatever, I feel like this is just overkill with that. And I love Kathleen's point. You can trip over it. Like, where is this freaking thing?
Well, so a lot of people now have movie projectors that they use for a movie screen in the backyard, or they'll show a movie on the side of the house, or they'll show a movie on a big empty wall. Right. And so you could do that with this, but you could also do it with equipment that's a lot cheaper than a robot.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah.
Now the AI band, this was an AI band that talks to you for better sleep. I want to show you. Can I have a pic? Let me just, well, let's finish watching this video. And because I think that maybe this is not the video that has the headband, but let's finish watching all of the weird crap that's in it.
Help to kind of give you a better sense of your own well-being. But this,
hold on, this
how good a value this is. But between announcements like this and others we've seen from companies like LG, which announced its own AI agent robot this year, it feels like we're finally getting to the point where you maybe actually would want a little robo-companion tooting around your house.
I love Mama. I want Rosie.
I've seen a lot of these smart rings that
track
your steps and monitor your heart health to kind of give you a better sense of your own well-being. But this, the Lotus ring from a startup called Lotus in California, is a little bit different. It's designed to give people with limited mobility, so veterans, the elderly, and even people who just want a touch of telekinesis in their lives, more control over their device without having to get up, which is nice, especially if they can't. There's a tiny IR blaster baked into the ring, and when you point it at devices like this, the switch cover, well, kind of does exactly what you'd expect.
That seems dumb.
The company plans to ship these later this year. You'll get the ring and a few of these switch covers, which work for the classic flat switches and those little toggles too, for about $299. There's going to be a power strip with a built-in IR receiver, so you can control things like coffee makers and other appliances. And in time, the company hopes to be able to build a touch sensor into the ring. So not only will you be able to turn a TV on and off, you'll be able to control the channels and the volume too.
What happened to your remote?
What do you mean?
No, I mean, like, why can't you just do that with a remote control?
That's
why do you
true.
need a
If
ring?
you needed any further,
that's a good point.
AI is the big theme at CES 2024. Look no further than Flappy, the AI-powered cat door. long story short, it uses the microchip inside of the animal to determine whether or not it is in fact your animal and whether it should open. But it also refuses to open if the cat walks up to the door with prey in its mouth. Because who wants
look at that, Kim,
or a dead bird in the middle of all of your nice things? I certainly don't.
But it's a gift.
So unfortunately, I've been told that I cannot strap on and try the squeals, these electric ski shoes, which is probably for the best.
No.
The top speed is 15 miles an hour, which sounds absolutely terrifying. But if you're cruising at a more reasonable 12 or so miles per hour, you can expect to get about 20 miles of range. Everything is controlled from this telescoping handle that also doubles as your controls. You've got your accelerate. It's accelerate. Sorry.
That would be me.
Access your brakes. And then once you're done and you're ready to kind of pack things up and go away, you telescope this thing, attach it to the wheels, and off you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
There really are. So here's the picture. I knew that it didn't have it. This is the sleep band that I was talking about. Okay.
Okay.
So it's called the Friends Brain Band. It talks to you as you fall asleep, but not in an annoying way. It connects to your phone and then uses artificial intelligence to curate audio from its library of cognitive behavioral therapies and other soothing sounds to help you fall asleep faster. So it might make you imagine that you're on the beach. It continuously monitors your heart rate and brain activity, and then will adapt the language and recordings until you fall asleep. And then once you're asleep, the sounds stop, but the machine, of course, still gathers all that information.
I don't trust it.
On you. No,
I don't want anyone talking to me when I don't know what it's saying. I don't know what kind of weird messages are being sent subliminally to my unconscious brain. No.
You will buy all nonsense technology.
That's right. Yeah.
I know Al Anonymous says 90% of products shown at CES are prototypes and won't exist in a couple of years. Good point, but it leads to things, right? So, look at this, and then we can adapt it to be more feasible for people. The headband, though, I was cracking up because, okay, so let's see. I have earplugs, I have my eye mask, and then I have the brain thing. I mean, at some point, I'm just going to be in this cocoon, and I just hopefully will get a darn it good night's sleep. So yeah, I don't know, I like just going through some of the things at CES, but the price tag on some of this stuff is insane. Like, nobody's gonna pay thousands of dollars. Somebody was saying that the cat door was like $300. Karen was saying that.
And then you have to pay. I was reading about it. You have to pay a monthly service, so it's like almost $10 a month for the service so that's another monthly bill you've just added yourself. No.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would just be a big no for a lot of these things, but it is kind of cool to see. But on that note, we'll do some headlines right now. But I know January is supposed to be dry January, but do you also know that it's no spend January? So for people on the opposite end of the spectrum from those that love CES and to buy all kinds of gadgets and the latest and greatest sort of thing, apparently there's a bunch of people that do this no spend January. Now, there's caveats. Obviously, you need to spend some money, right? You need to eat, you need to buy gas and those sorts of things. But how many of you could go an entire month without spending money on non-necessities? What would be and I want you to think about this, and we'll talk about it after the headlines. What would be the few things that would catch you, right? Like, oh, but I need this, or I need that, or I'm going to try my best, and then all of a sudden I spend something and I'm like, oh, wait, that's not a necessity. No, that's not a necessity. No spend January. Could you do it? And what would be the one downfall of your attempt to do it? Let me know in the comments. We'll read some of them. But first, here's some headlines.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Former President Trump continues to call his New York civil fraud trial a witch hunt.
Of course.
We've heard that before. The judge in the case allowed Trump to speak for 5 minutes during closing arguments today, despite originally indicating he would not be allowed to make a statement. Trump, his adult sons, his business associates are all accused of inflating the value of real estate in order to get more favorable loans.
Shocking.
Hunter Biden is expected to plead not guilty to 9 federal tax charges during his arraignment in Los Angeles. Pardon me. President Biden's son will appear today before Trump-appointed U.S. District Judge Mark Scarsi. The charges include failing to pay taxes and failing to file, and a conviction could carry a 17-year-long sentence.
I mean, let me just say something here. Do you think if Biden was sentenced, let's just say Hunter Biden, to 17 years in prison, that would hurt President Biden's chances at a re-election?
It shouldn't, but I think it probably would.
Really? I mean, part of me is just like,
people will say, "Oh, look, that whole family's crooked."
It's a criminal, exactly. It's a criminal enterprise or whatever. But at the same time, we've known that Hunter Biden has had issues for a very long time. How can you hold the current president responsible for his troublesome son? And maybe I'm making excuses, and that's my politics showing. I just don't think it should matter, but we'll see.
Increases in shelter costs are a major reason the consumer price index rose slightly higher than expected last month. The Labor Department announcing a 0.3% rise in December, while most economists expected the CPI to go up only 0.2%. The White House quick to point out that 3.4% increases for all of 2023 is an improvement from the 6.5% increase during 2022. So things are getting better, but it's taking a little longer than they would like. Google is laying off hundreds of people working on its voice-activated Google Assistant software. The tech company owned by Alphabet said today that it is also eliminating hundreds of jobs in Google's devices and services team. A Google spokesperson saying the layoffs are part of organizational changes that began several months ago to become more efficient. Alphabet employs more than 180,000 people worldwide. So sad to see tech people lose their jobs, especially here in the Bay Area.
I have an old family friend that's my brother's best friend, actually works for Google. And it's every time I hear these headlines, I always wonder, but I don't think that he's in any of those departments. But you can kind of feel like the walls are closing in, although Google does employ a lot of people. So I could, you don't like to see people lose their jobs, of course.
Speaking of tech and stuff like that, crypto stocks are headed higher after Wednesday's SEC approval of Bitcoin ETFs. Coinbase and Robinhood shares are benefiting as the approval adds credibility to the cryptocurrency industry. The crypto space has long been volatile because of uncertain regulatory acceptance. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if we need to accept that or not. In the Sonoma State area, Sonoma State University, the campus will remain open and operational during a planned faculty strike expected from January 22nd through the 26th. That according to an announcement from a university spokesperson yesterday. About 29,000 faculty members across the California State University system's 23 campuses are planning to strike during the first week of the spring semester. The Sonoma State University spokesperson says the university is not canceling classes, but individual faculty members may decide to cancel their classes. So the California Faculty Association is asking the CSU for a 12% raise this fiscal year, but the negotiations broke down on Tuesday, so now we get the strike.
Wow.
Yay.
Hey.
There's a new focus today on the recent storm damage in Capitola. You were talking about all the flooding there, especially with those houses that are right on the beach. The city council will hold its first meeting of the year. They'll talk about the high surf from a couple weeks ago. Powerful waves flooded restaurants and shops in the Capitola village. 2 residential units at the Capitola Venetian Hotel were also red tagged. They're unsafe. Right. In all, officials estimate the damage at $250,000, including a portion of Hooper's stairs. So it seems like, the minute they fix something, they turn around and more things are broken.
Yeah, I mean, you lose every single time when you're going up against the ocean. Sorry.
Yeah. The top Democrat in the House says democracy is on the ballot in 2024.
Yes.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries telling reporters today, Americans should be terrified that Donald Trump appears on the Republican as appears as to be the front runner for on the Republican ticket for president. Jeffries went on to criticize House Republicans, saying the most unproductive Congress in history is being presided over by who he called extreme MAGA Republicans. This comes amid Republican infighting over spending in the House.
So, they're trying to kick out Mike Johnson, the current speaker, again over the deal that he reached with Democrats over the weekend. God forbid we have any sort of progress in this freaking country. But and I will play you after Kim's headlines that clip of Christie dropping the truth bomb. I forgot to play it before Jefferson because it's really funny to hear.
McDonald's is bringing back a special burger after 4 years.
4 years. Okay, what?
Why anybody needs this, I don't know. The fast food chain is returning the double Big Mac to menus beginning January 24th.
Isn't it already 2 all-beef patties?
That's right. Now it's 4.
Ew!
The sandwich features 4 beef patties instead of 2.
Yeah.
It sold the item in March of 2020 for a short time, made the announcement just a few days before the pandemic reached the United States. This double Big Mac will include McDonald's fresh burger offerings, including better grill setting and softer buns.
I'm not eating it. Well, I've never had a Big Mac in my life. Which is, I every time I say people like never, I'm like never. I've never had a Big Mac in my life, and I don't like ground beef that much. I would never want a double patty, let alone 4 patties. That's not going to happen.
I'll show you the picture because I don't even know how you get your mouth around this thing.
That's what she said.
If you wanted to shove all this meat in your mouth anyway,
that's what she said.
Why you would want this massive Big Mac. I mean,
it's already big. I mean,
this thing could feed a family of 4.
I just think that looks ridiculous. I mean, that's way too big. It's way too big.
That's called overeating right there. Why do you need that?
It's gross.
Okay, maybe.
4 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Maybe you want some extra beef patties to feed your pup in the back seat.
Well, maybe you could take out the patties or whatever.
Or maybe a double Big Mac is cheaper than 2 Big Macs, so you share it with a friend.
But you still need the bun.
No, you just flip it upside down and, eat one side open face.
That's gross. No,
I don't know.
No, I don't. A Big Mac's never. And you know what? I don't know why. It's just like a really big cheeseburger. I mean, it has lettuce though. I don't like onions, so I would never get the onions anyway, whether it was regular or not. So 2 all beef patties, special sauce. It's Thousand Island dressing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lettuce, cheese, pickles. I love pickles. I always ask it for extra pickles if I'm going to
pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Yeah, no onions though.
Yeah.
Gross.
No, that's just when you're talking about Mark Zuckerberg's excess. This seems to be excess for the common man.
Yeah, can you imagine how much his Wagyu and burger would be? Ugh, gross.
Gordon's like, yes, gross.
It's disgusting.
No.
All right.
John says, in reality, McDonald's patties are about a quarter as thick as others.
And that's why, honestly, I don't mind a McDonald's cheeseburger when I do eat it because it's so thin. I don't like big fat burgers. Gross to me. No.
This is interesting. Angel in the Bay Area says Big Mac's secret sauce includes orange peels. Is that right? I thought it was just kind of a sweet, Thousand Island dressing-ish. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. Nope.
Yeah. No. Gross.
Wow. Gross. Brian says I joined Nikki by throwing up in my mouth from that 4 times burger.
It's gross.
Yeah.
It's gross. That's funny.
If you told me, would you rather eat that burger or have Trump be elected president? I'd eat the burger.
Well, obviously, I would do that.
As a matter of fact, I'd eat more than one, and I don't eat fast food meat, but I'd eat it. I would do anything.
Yeah, that's right.
Within reason.
Kim's are no fast food meat in the mouth. Yeah. So, I mean, if you went to a gourmet burger place, or do you just not like?
No, I don't mind a burger with good meat, but after that whole pink slime thing, I'm out.
Yeah, that should have done it for me too, but it didn't. But that you are what you eat on Netflix. I keep promoting it. Watch it. It'll change your viewpoint. There you go.
This report is sponsored by you. Thank you for all the ways you help the show.
Music's a little loud, sorry.
Yeah, it was a good one. Well, wow, we're partying over here. Find us at thenikkimedoroshow.com, thenikkimedoroshow.com. And of course, the Patreon link is there and the PayPal link is there, and that's our bread and butter. So thank you for that. And all the ways you support the show. The super stickers are open. And again, thank you for all that you do for us. This is Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you, Kim. All right, before I read some of your it's no spend January. Now you could take that. I read an article about it. You could take that for whatever you mean, but put in the comments what you think would catch you. If you were going to not spend money, what is the one thing you're like, I know I don't need it, but I want it. But first, I want to play you this clip just because I promised it of Christie. So Chris Christie, as you know, dropped out of the race. He didn't have a chance in hell anyway, but he was that kind of the fly in the ointment for Trump. He was going to call him out. He was calling out other people. So he dropped out. But before this town hall, where he did end up announcing that he was dropping out, he was caught on a hot mic talking a little bit of crap about. I
love the hot mic. The hot mics are, yeah.
Because it's such honesty. But I'm going to tell you this. He's right. Now, if it's not obvious, basically what he's talking about is how much he spent versus DeSantis and Nikki Haley. And this is what he said. So turn up the volume. I think the sound is good, but turn up the volume on your computer or your phone or whatever and listen up.
People don't want to hear it, Wayne. They don't want to hear it. We know we're right, but they don't want to hear it. Right. And there's, we couldn't have been any clearer. Right. We couldn't have been any more direct or worked any harder. So,
She spent $68 million.
Well, when you give land to China and places like that.
Yeah, that's what you get. Yeah. I mean, look, she spent $68 million so far, just on TV. Spent $68 million so far, $59 million by DeSantis, and we spent 12. I mean, who's punching above their weight and who's getting a return on their investment, And she's going to get smoked. And you and I both know it. She's not up to this.
And she's still 20 points behind Trump in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
And he's still going to carry out, right?
Yes. Always. I talked to DeSantis called me, petrified that I would.
He's probably getting out after Iowa. Well,
now, of course, the whole DeSantis thing at the end, where he's like, he's probably going to get out after Iowa. That would be insane. That would be. If DeSantis dropped out, DeSantis was the one we thought was going to be up against Trump. Like, we thought he was going to give him a run for his money. Nikki Haley spending that much money on TV ads, I don't know, man. I think, again, I wouldn't take either of them. But if I had my choice between Nikki Haley and Trump, I'd have to choose Haley. Just because I think that Trump lives in a world of delusion. Right. And he has spread that delusion like a virus. It's gross what he's done.
So I don't agree with her on issues, but I think perhaps she would safeguard democracy.
You would hope.
It's interesting how that used to be a given, right?
Yeah.
That would be,
we didn't worry about that. Yeah.
No, we wouldn't need to talk about that because that wasn't obvious, right? Of course, the person running for president loves America, would safeguard the Constitution and our principles of democracy. Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
No, now you got to think, is this person like the next dictator coming in?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Who thought in America that would even be a concern?
Well, and the thing that pisses me off, and I'll play you a little bit of Christie's not concession, but dropping out speech, because he does make the point. It's like, Jesus, people are so deluded by Trump, so deluded. Here's a little bit of Chris Christie.
We have people in this race. All they will do is tell you how bad everything is, how angry we should be. And there's certainly sufficient reason for anger at the failures of the leaders we've selected. But they're doing it not for that reason. It's not a moment of honesty and transparency. Believe me, it's not. It's because they believe when we get angry, what we'll do is naturally relate to the angriest voice in the room. Donald Trump wants you to be angry every day because he's angry. He wants you to be angry so that you'll relate to his anger and then to vote for him. Please understand this. I have known him well for 22 years, more than anybody else in this race has known him. And I can promise you this. If you put him back behind the desk in the Oval Office and a choice comes and a decision is needed to be made as to whether he puts himself first or he puts you first, how much more evidence do you need?
Exactly.
That he will pick himself.
And that's the truth. Yep. And that's the truth. Trump cares about Trump.
That's right.
And he's proven it time and again. Everything is, he can't even wish somebody a Merry Christmas without making it about him. You know what I mean? Like, that's him. That is him. And I don't know why people love him. There was, that prank, and it's a really heartless prank where they pretend like somebody's favorite celebrity has passed away and it's not actually true, just to get the stupid social media reaction. Mm-hmm. Somebody did it of this woman, a white woman, which is just typical. And she's, I don't know, it sounds from the accent like she's in the South or whatever. And the kid who's recording is like, Donald J. Trump dies at the age of 70 something, whatever. And she's like, no, our Trump. And I'm like, your Trump? Like, he could give a rat's ass if you passed away. He can give a rat's ass if you're hurting. He does not give a crap about you at all. But yeah, it's, Chris Christie's right. Now, did I ever think that Chris Christie would have a chance in hell to even be the nominee? No. Do I like Chris Christie? No. Do I think that he's a lion sack of S too? Yes. But he's honest there. He's right there. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, the thing that blows. It's insane when a liar is calling out other liars like, yo, I lie, but I lie like the normal way. Like, this guy's insane. Like, I lie the political way. I lie the way that benefits me. But this guy is a brainwasher, a cult leader. Yeah. It's not Trump derangement syndrome either. Okay. It's not that. It's being in a rational mind and looking at people losing their minds, right? It's watching people being told a lie when they see the truth with their own eyes and denying it because their dear leader says it's not the way it is. That's what drives people that people say have Trump derangement syndrome crazy. It's because it's like you're handed something green. You know it's green. I know it's green, but your leader's saying it's red. And so you're like, it's red. And you're like, no, he's lying to you. You're like, oh, you're insane. Why are you up against him? Why do you hate him so much? You should get it's that which drives us crazy. That's what drives us crazy. And we'll see. I really, really hope there's more sane people than insane people in this world or in this country, but I won't put my money on any of it. Did
you see that video of the January 6th rioter who smashed windows open and she got 5 years in prison? And she's a mother of 8 and a grandmother. And CNN, Donnie went out to talk to her and asked her if she has regrets. She said, I regret that one day screwed up my family because now I have to leave my children, my grandchildren.
And do you think Trump cares? Do you really think he's going to get all the hostages out? No, he's not.
And then she said, but I don't regret standing up for Trump. And she went on about how she still believes the election was stolen and this and that. And you're looking at her thinking, you're crazy. And it's actually a good thing you're being taken away from your kids because you are going to impart the nut gene.
Yep, exactly. Mm-mm. And Eric, you're right. Both sides are using Trump derangement syndrome now. One to say everyone who criticizes him is deranged, and the rest of us who look at his deranged cult followers. Exactly. Then you're just arguing with each other. Nikki Haley even came out and said it's wrong for Donald Trump to continue to falsely claim that the election was stolen. Right. I think that it obviously serves her to look like the sane one, because then you get those sane conservatives to be like, okay, well, at least she's not nuts like Trump and Trump followers. And so she's going to get the votes that way. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm hoping, you know what I'm really hoping? I'm hoping that there's sane people in Iowa. I don't know if there is. I don't know if the polls are right. I'm hoping that, the people that are in their right mind aren't answering pollsters. Okay. Yeah. But wouldn't it be nice? Not that Trump won't lead in the Iowa caucus, but not by as much as the pollsters think. Because whenever there's a huge discrepancy, people are like, oh, that's right. The polls aren't worth the paper they're printed on, right? Yeah. Because people can say whatever they want to say. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And I'm not voting for her, Karen. Nikki Haley goes in whatever direction serves her. You shouldn't have faith or trust in her. No. Yeah, she's a politician. Yes. She's a politician.
But if having to choose between her and him, right? Haley and Trump, I would definitely take her, even though absolutely you're right. Yeah.
It's interesting that she says that the election that Trump was falsely claiming the election was stolen. Spencer says Haley wants to be the VP candidate. Would she be, or would he choose her if she went on record and said that? And that's the thing that bothers me about some of these conservatives. They will come out in such criticism of Trump until maybe they can be part of his cabinet, right? Or their vice president. Like, wait a minute, no.
Mindy's like, beware the nut gene.
Exactly. Yeah. And Nikki Haley is the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
And that is sad. Okay. Tulsi Gabbard as the possible VP. I definitely think it's going to be a woman. I do. It could be Tulsi Gabbard. That's actually a good guess. But I definitely think it'll be a woman.
Who wants to be Trump's vice president? You saw what happened to the last guy.
Yeah.
When his life was in imminent peril, Trump's like, yeah, I'm not going to send any help.
Well, and you're thrown to the wolves. He will throw whoever is vice president to the wolves.
Right.
So go ahead. Oh, if it's Carrie Lake, I think that would be the demise of Trump. I don't think Trump's that stupid.
She cray. Speaking of
She's
the nut gene.
nuts. I don't think that Trump I will say this about Trump. I think he knows he's full of crap, right? I think he would look at Carrie Lake and be like, you don't play off full of crap as good as I pull off.
Are you really buying what I'm selling? Wow.
He knows she's full of crap. So no. Okay, let's get into, we have about 10 minutes left. Let's get into money. All right. So I'm not giving up booze, period. But I have given up drinking during the week. So that's enough for me. I don't need to do dry January. I don't give a crap about that.
That's good because you usually have an evening cocktail, right?
I was drinking every day. Every single day I was drinking. Last year for the first half of the year, I would say more than that, but I was drinking every day. Now I wasn't getting drunk. I'd have a cocktail or two, but I was thinking to myself, maybe we should do a little bit of a check-in and see if you can not drink. And I was trying to cut back calories. And even though I was drinking vodka, which has the fewest calories of the hard liquors, it's still calories. And if you're having a couple, that's like 120, 150 calories, depending on how much you use. So now I just drink club soda and ginger beer every night. And it's so satisfying and I love it. And I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it.
Ginger beer has booze in it, right?
No.
No,
it's just called. It's like root beer has alcohol in it.
Oh, okay.
No. It just has ginger in it. It has no alcohol. Ginger beer has no alcohol in it.
Okay.
So I drink that, and then on the weekends I drink the cocktails that I want guilt-free.
Yeah.
Now, dry January is not happening in my household. It might be happening in yours, but you know what's? It's going to be harder. Would be harder for me to do if I was doing it, which I'm not. If you guys could, is no spend January. Now. There's this CNN business article talking about no spend January, which is a month without spending money on non-essential items. So that's my question for you. What would be, if you were going to do something like this, what would be the hardest thing, a non-essential item for you to spend money on, to stop spending money on?
Activities for kids.
Oh, that's a good one. I see. I don't consider that non-essential though.
I think that's essential too. That's a hard one.
I mean, that's like I paid. It's like you made a commitment to something that's an essential. It would be hard for me not to, let's say, go to the movies with the kids, go to the drive-ins, doing something like that. Like those sorts of things would be hard for me. You know what's one, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with all the streaming services. Not, if the streamer doesn't have it and I have to pay like $4 for the movie, I do that without even thinking. I do that without even thinking. I'm like, well, because I consider it this. I could go to the movies and spend $60 probably, right? Easy. Or I could spend $4 and watch a movie in the comfort of my own home. It's girl math. I'm like, I saved money.
See, my first thing is, what else can I watch that won't charge me?
Well, yeah, I try that too. But if I really want to watch a movie, especially if the kids want to watch something with me, like I'm gonna take that opportunity when I can get it.
Right.
And so, yeah, if it's like, oh, for $3.99, you can watch this movie. Girl math, it's like I'd be spending 10 times that to go out. So it's basically free.
The amount I save now that I stopped drinking, says Eric, is incredible, which is kind of a statement on how much I drank.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love Kim. I'm having a damp January. Not quite dry, but definitely cutting back. Ricky says, oh, hold on. Ricky says, no alcohol, no tobacco, no chemicals, cannabis, caffeine, and chocolate. My essentials. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So, okay. And I like to eat out. So obviously I'd have to buy groceries to eat. And I don't know if I'd be able to make a whole month because you need to get more milk. You need to get those sorts of things that aren't going to last a month. So I would have to spend money on groceries. But eating out, like I really try not to DoorDash anymore, but eating out would be really hard for me to stop doing. That would be like, I don't even think about the spending. Definitely on streaming movies. I've really been trying to cut back on like the Starbucks or the coffee shop stuff. Yep. I wouldn't be able to get my eyebrows done. That's like $20, right? I'm trying to think. I'm not much of a hair salon person. I mean, if I get my hair done once a year, that's a lot. Yeah. So I'm not really that sort of person. A lady Beatrice says, I'm a university student. I need my coffee. Coffee stays. So does my bottle of Disaronno. Ooh, all right. I used to drink that when I first started drinking. Do you just drink it straight?
I don't even know what that is. Disaronno.
It's the amaretto. It's amaretto. Oh. Yeah. And I know people that drink it straight. Do you drink it straight, Lady Beatrice? Yeah, amaretto sours. When I first started drinking, that's what I would definitely. NFL and beer. Would you cut out the streaming services? If I was going to do all together, not just the movies, would you cancel all of your stuff?
Yep.
Now they are saying if you want to attempt, and I know it's the 11th, so you're kind of almost halfway through it. But for no spend January, if you prepare, some people say in December, I'm going to put money aside for birthday gifts and things like that. Right. Mm-hmm. So technically you're not spending that money. You save the money already and you're spending that. Yeah. So you can kind of, and basically all of the tips and tricks for this is you set up your own rules to do it. Now, one tip also is to shop proof your phone. They say one of the surest ways to resist making impulse purchases from apps such as Amazon or Target is to just straight up remove it from your phone. That's my phone going off. The same goes for getting off email marketing lists, unsubscribe to text promotions, and delete social media altogether. Identify obviously what you will spend money on, what you won't spend money on. Make a shopping list. And one of the biggest tips and tricks is to create a competition with the people in your household. So for instance, if you're married or whatever, just be like, okay, let's see who can spend the least amount of money.
Sure.
And then see how much you save. One person in the article saved $2,000, like basically created an emergency fund because of everything that they saved by not spending money.
Not only cutting stuff out, but also getting rid of things. That's been my thing. And so what's laying around that you don't need that might be worthy of selling?
Yeah. Selling is the key point. I was just going to say that because that's the thing. It's like some people are like, oh, I'm going to donate to Goodwill. Wait, take a picture of everything, put it up on Marketplace. See if you can get 10, 20, $30 for something, depending on what it is. Like I have this desk next to me that I hate. I've had this daydream, Kim, that I am in some life that is this life creative enough to sand and paint it and get new hardware for it. Like I look at it, I'm like, I can make that cute. And then maybe if I don't even use it, I could sell it. Like I've had this daydream that I'm going to do stuff and then life gets in the way and I run out of time.
Sometimes you just have to get rid of it. Sometimes you just need to get it out of your space. I had this ride-on car, like a little kid's ride-on car. You know, you get in and then it's electric and so it goes. It was a convertible Audi, a black convertible Audi.
Oh, okay.
Really cute. And so I put it up on the internet, $75 or best offer. Nothing.
Right.
Then I put it on for $50 or best offer.
Nothing.
Yeah. And then I'm like, well, it's kind of worth that at least. But then so it sat there and it's big and it took up space. And the more it sat there, the more pissed off I got. We put it out on the sidewalk with actually at the end of my driveway with a little note that said free. Within 10 minutes, it was
gone. Can you imagine driving by and seeing that?
Do you know what a relief that was to get that out of my house?
To not have to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
I love Louise's. My exposure to girl math. I got this Louis Vuitton keychain for free. I just had to spend $3,000 to get it. Karen says I only seem to get my hair cut every 6 months. That's the same as me. More a matter of not wanting to spend the time rather than the money. Mine is my hair grows so slowly. And I know it doesn't matter. Split ends. Well, I still just don't go. I'm trying to grow my damn hair out. Oh, the desk. Anonymous thinks I should, if I get off my ass and sand it and paint it to make it cute, auction the desk on the show and get some bites. It's $300, 300 people here. Yeah, I mean, would you guys buy something that maybe if it came out really cute? I might give you guys first dibs on it, but I might want to keep it. That was my point of wanting to do it, is to make it cute. So I would want to keep it and not look at this antiquated looking
Get rid
desk.
of the clutter. I have the opposite problem with my hair, by the way. My hair grows really, really fast.
Right.
And it's now so long that when I lean forward, I'm like leaning on my hair. And usually around Thanksgiving, I chop it off and I donate it because you need a certain amount of inches to donate. And it's time. So I need to go chop it off.
You have such I wish my hair would grow that fast. I wish. All right. That's the show. I am going to be in San Francisco tomorrow morning. So Kim McAllister is going to be here. And the early one. So if you're driving around for the morning drive, you can hear my exhausted voice. I got up at 2:00 in the morning voice. Lord Almighty. So, but John Rothman's on tomorrow. Tim Sika's talking movies tomorrow. So everyone have a fabulous weekend. And thank you, Kim, for, of course, doing it for us while I'm gone. Click the thumbs up button, you guys. I want to give some quick thank yous. Angel in the Bay Area. Oh my God, there's no orange peels. Guess I should stay away from Twitter.
He's talking about in the special sauce and the Big Mac. Yeah.
And thank you for the $10. Lady Beatrice with a $5 donation. Darth Trump looks out for just one person. Darth Trump. Chris Christie is no saint, but he has a good sense to drop out of the political fight club. Thank you, you guys. If you want to donate during the replay, we would appreciate it. And please sign up for our monthly Patreon, thenikkimedoroshow.com. It's just a one-time a month donation to the show. And we really, really do appreciate it. And we need it because we're 100% crowdfunded. All right. I'll be back on Monday. Kim will be here tomorrow. Have a fabulous weekend. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.